What is goody good, you guys? It's your boy Mac Motivates. So it's come to my attention that Subarus have a rack and pinion power steering problem. Now, who wants to have that problem while you're in a parking lot doing some all-wheel drive donuts? Nobody. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to take your rack and pinion out, rebuild it, show you the problem, and some other stuff too. This will probably be a 2 or 3 part episode because I'm also going to be taking out my external wastegate, checking that, and also going to be adding my 4-cylinder cooling mod. Going to be disconnecting the turbo, fixing a broken gasket. Going to be checking out all this other stuff, so this will be fun. Also, I'm doing something different. I know this video shot in vertical. Some of you may or may not like it. I don't know. But trying something new. YouTube in a different way. So let's get to it. After this is all done, that'll be back to normal. The exhaust leak will be gone, so hopefully holding a little more boost pressure because it's just letting it escape from the side and not going out of the exhaust. Probably won't do anything different. And then the 4-cylinder, this is usually the cylinder that goes bad in most Subarus where the ring lands fail, because the way that the coolant flows, it just kind of sits right here. So I'm going to add a 4-cylinder cooling mod, which is going to use the water pump to actually pull that coolant out. There's a hole in the back of the block that has a plug. I'm going to take that plug out and we're going to reroute it. And that's going to leave that 4-cylinder spot that usually gets really hot. It's going to let it be cooler, not cold. But it doesn't make any sense because on the opposite side, it has the turbo here, but it doesn't get hot. So it just wasn't routed that way. So, all right, so this is the revised kit. These are the seals. Let me put it in the light so you can see. These are the seals though. Basically they sandwich in between each other. They're already greased. Over time they just deteriorate or burst. Or if you overpressurize the system by doing, all-wheel drive donuts, that happens too. But honestly, it happens over time. I don't know why Subaru won't warranty it, because these go out and people lose power steering fluid, and then they end up needing new racks. I can assure you, anybody that drives a WRX1 STI has had a power steering problem. Just like the motors go out, they don't really talk about it, but these go out too. So it's unfortunate because my car's only a 16, so it's like, damn, why? Why would this be going out that soon? So it is what it is though. Got the knowledge to fix it, so let's get it done. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're underneath the car. Remember the CV axle was ripped because this fell over and melted it. I've already fixed that before. But so right now I'm focusing on the power steering leak. As you can see right there, it's definitely leaking. There's a lot of room here. I'm gonna have to remove this bracket right here, which is pretty easy. It's supposed to be bam bam. And then I'm going to mark the steering column here, take this off, and take this tie rod in, knock those loose, then take the steering column. And then I'll be able to get this rack and pinion out. It'll drop out. Here's the problem. There's a seal internally here, and I may need to get whatever seal this is right here. Hang on, right there. You can see it's definitely broken. Look, I mean, it's leaking while I'm moving it, so there's our leak for sure. So at first I thought it was these lines, because you can see it looks like it's built up on those lines, but it's coming down and going from there. So yeah, I'll take this off, hit it with brake clean. I'll be able to finally fix up all this from the old CV axle stuff. And then while I'm in there and all this is out of the way, I will actually go to the back of the block. Let's see here. This right here, I'm going to remove, which means I'm going to have to drain the coolant. And then all the coolant will be out, and I'll remove this plug. And then I'll plug it up with something else. And then I will cut into these heater hoses and reroute them, so I can actually get to that 4-cylinder, because that 4-cylinder is right where that plug is. And I'm going to reroute it so the coolant will flow and not just be stuck there and we can get that 4-cylinder nice and cooler so it doesn't have any issues, hopefully. These headers are coming off today. Headers are gonna come off, and I'm gonna go up to the top of the turbo and take that gasket off. So we're gonna be down for a while. So if we need that seal, then I'll be good to get it. Gotta take out the wastegate today. This will be fun. Yeah, it's like 2 bolts in, bam, and I hit a piece of metal and I take a nice chunk out of my finger. Let's put some gloves on now. Okay, got the brace off. Brace just came off there. So since I work on a gravel driveway, bolts tend to look the same color. So I like to put the bolts back where they belong, and it always leaves you, never wondering, oh, where's this extra bolt, or where does this bolt go to? I just put them back where they belong. So now I'm gonna knock these tie rods loose, and then basically I'll go to the top, I'll loosen those up, and then I'll take these bolts, and then the rack and pinion will basically kind of fall out. I may have to take these bolts loose. I may not be able to maneuver it around here. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But yeah, almost there. There's a lot of fluid that's just kind of accumulated in there. So I'm gonna hit this with brake cleaner real quick and get this all clean. I'm gonna clean all under this because I want it to look like this. This is still basically a new car to me. So I wanna make it look all nice and shiny like this. So we're gonna get all this taken care of. So here's the fun part. Turn your wheels to the outside. Take this cotter pin out. So you have to bend the ends and then pull that right out. Put that, it's a 19. And then you take your trusty hammer and let's see if we can, there it goes already. Still technically really a new car, so now I put that there so it wouldn't fall the way out. We take your cowsel nut off, bam, and I don't have to touch that, so alignment should still be cool when I'm done with this. All right, and also, like I said, when I take this out, I'm gonna put these back on there so I know where everything goes. Everything has a place. Yee. All right, got both of the tie rods loose. I put the steering wheel back straight. I'm gonna actually run a seat belt through it so it does not move anymore. These are straight. Tie rods are still in, they're just a little loose. So once I get it to where I need it, actually I'll try and do it on camera now if I can. So we'll take the seat belt. Hang on, I'll show you before and after. All right, so that is there. Seat belt is locked in place. So there we go. By the way, this is called Brid, not Bride. E is silent. Brid. All right, so I bring out the Dremel. I got this little cutoff wheel here. So I'm gonna get underneath and I'm going to mark a line so that I know when I put it together, even if the steering wheel moves, I'll know where it needs to move back. It's not gonna move, but it's just another added, source of security. So I know where it needs to go because there's splines, and I'll show you underneath. But let me get this line made and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I started to mark it, and I noticed it was actually cutting into it. So I was like, yeah, screw that. See that it started to cut into it. I was like, no, you're supposed to be scoring it, not cutting into it. So I went ahead and got my paint pen and I marked there. So I'll be able to match that up with the angle, with the grinder on the angle, and then that. So I actually have 2 points of reference. So now take this bolt out, wiggle it loose, and I may have to take the sway bar links off here. No, here, I'm sorry, here. And then I can take the rack and pinion out. Yeah, buddy. All right, so got this bolt off here. Goes to the power steering line. I accidentally took this off when I was actually supposed to be taking the top one off. So I got the top one off. I went ahead and wrapped them in zip tied napkins or shop towels around them, so nothing gets inside. Last thing you want to do, I'm working on the gravel, is, you know, get that. So now these are all taken apart. So basically when I pull the rack and pinion down, these lines should just kind of fish out with them, and that's it. So literally I have to take the tie rod ends off and take the rack and pinion bolts off, and I'm done. Alright, so got the bolts for the rack and pinion. The rack and pinion is now loose. The rack and pinion is now mobile. So then I told you I'd have to take some of these bolts out to get the sway bar, to remove that. And some people say you have to remove this bolt here. Let me see if I can find it. This lower control arm bolt. I don't think I'm gonna have to do that, but we'll see here in a minute. But I'm definitely gonna need both my hands for this. So, oh, also got to get this out too. This will pop off, right? But it's gonna pop off now. Once this pops off, everything else will probably drop. So I'm gonna put my phone up. Oh, you can actually see the splines here. Let me zoom in real quick. You can see the splines, and you can see why I have it marked. So there we go. Yeah. Oh man, that was a pain in the ass. I'm gonna make, these lines were hard to get out. As you can see, they got scraped up, which is why they have padding right there. So I'm gonna actually bang that out a little bit. But this was hard because the external wastegate's in the way, so that's why they wrapped it in this. But looks good to me, but we'll see. And then this was from the CV boot breaking a long time ago, so good gosh. But now, next move is to take these lines off, and then take these bolts, pull it off, replace the seals. This is just a boot cover, I guess. Yep. That's not even protecting shit. That's just a boot cover. But where it's leaking from is right here. It's leaking from right there. This inner seal has went bad, and we're gonna go ahead and fix that up. Successfully got the lines off here, under here, and all four here. Those lines are there. So now we take these two bolts off, and we go from there. All right, so basically this top piece goes over, and it slides off, and it leaves this exposed. Now, this is something that doesn't make any sense. It has a rack and pinion seal kit, but yeah, I see there's a rubber gasket right here that's not in the kit. That's so annoying. And I don't know if that's supposed to be moving like that. I don't think that's supposed to be moving like that. So we'll see. Now I got to take a C-clamp or clip, whatever, take this out. The other gasket's up top here. I have to punch this out. You can see where the seal is leaking right there. You can see that. So this top seal failed right there. The bottom one might be fine, but still gonna replace it. All right, so took the snap ring off, slid this piece off, got the new gasket on, just pops in place. There's a dial there. You just put this on like so. You can't put it on wrong because it only goes one way. There it is. Snaps into place. Your new seal's on there. It's already greased up. Take your snap ring, and then you'll place it here, which I'm not going to do on camera because I need two hands. And then I'll show you the last seal. Alright, snap ring is on. So this is all nice and tight. That seal is nice and set. I guess this is supposed to move. I did some research real quick, and that is okay. Now, we take this. I'm going to lay it on the ground here. What I'm going to do is flip it here. And I'm going to take a little punch. I'm going to punch this seal out. This seal is broken, and there's a piece that will come out as well with it. While I'm working, a Frenchie walks up. What's up, buddy? Hi. What's up, buddy? Come here. He took off running. It's an expensive dog. All right, everyone. Got this seal in. It was kind of scary because it had to be punched out and then pressed back in, but it is in. Definitely, like I showed you guys, the old seal was definitely part of the problem. Definitely blew that seal. So now this seal's on. That's good. So I'm gonna put some. This actually uses ATF, automatic transmission fluid, is the power steering fluid for this car. So I'm gonna drop a little bit in here, make sure everything's all lubricated, and slide this back on and put everything back together. And then I'll probably finish this up tomorrow. I think what I'll do tonight is drain the rest of the coolant and then get the piece off the back of the block and put some RTV and all that stuff in there and let that cure overnight. And then while that's happening, tomorrow I'll probably do the exhaust since everything else is already out of the way, and I'll get that exhaust leak fixed too. So yeah, told you it was gonna take 2 days. Good morning, world. It is another day. Got this coolant line off, drained all the coolants, took this coolant line off, drained all the coolant, so the car has no more coolant, at least here. I'm looking back here, I see there's power steering fluid all the way back here that just got flung up. So I'm gonna get some more brake clean, spray all that here, brake clean all that. That sucks. Anyways, so now we're gonna go to the back of the block of the motor back here and take off that plug and install the 4-cylinder cooling mod. Yes, sir. And then while that's sitting there, I'm gonna take these headers off. This is gonna be very interesting. Take these headers off and see if we can get that exhaust gasket fixed. Jeez. Got my work cut out for me today for sure. It's kind of crazy how easy this mod is with the power steering rack out of the way, because normally you'd have to go above and over. I've got this hole right here, and the hole to the block is right there. So I'll just take a breaker bar, break it loose. Hopefully no coolant falls on me. I'll take the new line, get it into there, then run it up to these heater core lines, splice it in there, and I'm done. I got the plug out. Let's see if we can look inside the block. There's a big ass hole in it now. Can we get in there? Can we see in there? There's a coolant passage right there. There's a coolant passage. Gotta clean up the rest of the RTV on it, but took a quick lunch break. All right, that's in the block now, and that is cut and spliced in. Literally, that's all it is. The plug comes out from the water pump pulls it out. So the water pump uses it. It has a use of two things. It pushes and pulls now, so it's pulling it out of that cylinder head, because what happens is it just kind of sits there and gets hot, and that's why cylinder 4 goes bad. So this is going to pull that out and run it through the heater core, so it's not just sitting there, you know. And yeah, it helps. So that's that. There's a starter. Bolts. Good lord. Good lord. All right, here goes another piece of questionable engineering. So I got the heat shields off. They actually weren't as hard as everybody thought they were going to be, but there's this heat shield that's right here. Yes, this car has stock headers. Stock headers are good up to 500 horsepower. I'm making 420, so. But, like, I was gonna just cut this off, right? Because it has to go. Because I don't have the tool for this, for the O2 sensor. I'm not looking for it, right? So I unplugged it. I was like, all right, I'll just fish it through. But tell me why they had this piece of metal here. Why didn't you just cut it off so you can just whoop, slide it right over? Less material for y'all. Like, doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna shear this off. I'm gonna just cut this off so I can just whoop, like that, instead of me fishing the whole wire through, because I didn't want to take this off, you know. So stupid, man. Well, got that nice and chopped up. I'm just doing this in case I ever need to do this again for some reason, or whatever maybe I'll choose to go, with a killer bee header or something. I don't know, but we cutting. Safety glasses. What's needed. So now, somebody has to fish the wire through and take out, or take out the O2 sensor. We just slide it on. It's good to go. Should have been that way from the get-go. Let's see. Underneath, straight open headers. All right, there's the header. You can see inside the motor. Here's the other side. You can see inside of it. I want to get that patched up quickly. You don't want no critters going in there. Here's the up pipe, the Turbo Smart wastegate going up to the bottom of the turbo. That is the gasket that I'm replacing right there. So as you can see, that is not all the way down. There's a stud that is not installed all the way, and we're going to install that and fix this turbo blanket because that's not supposed to be that way. And then I got to take off the down pipe, and I got to take it off down here. All that just to replace this stupid gasket right up here. All right, took the turbo blanket off. Got these bolts loose. They're right here. I've got, I think, one or two more underneath the down pipe. And then, obviously, underneath, I'll pull the down pipe off, get the bolts from the top for the up pipe, and then I'll be done with that. I'll switch out the gasket and literally just kind of toss everything back on. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. And shout out to the sponsor, Grimspeed, hooking it up with new gaskets, 20% thicker. Yes, yes. But I did take off the headers, and I did take off this pipe here. So as you can see here, it'll replace that one. And then there's two in that package. And these gaskets are actually 20% thicker, less probable chance of you having a leak anyways. They have thicker ones than that, but like I said, shout out to the plug, Grimspeed. They are my sponsor. I appreciate y'all big time. And for anybody who's a non-Subaru person, about to put you on the game right now. This piece right here, excuse me, this piece right. All right, update. I got the wastegate out. So, Turbo Smart, Compgate 40. I'll tell you, TC did not half-ass when they got this car. This is the dump tube. This is what caused the CV axle to melt because it was so basically this is how it goes onto the car. Goes onto the up pipe right here, right? And this dump tube goes on, and then this just dumps right over the CV axle. So this is your lovely thing that makes it sound like a damn dinosaur. Wow! Basically, at right about 10 pounds, this valve opens up, and then it just better regulates the boost pressure. Pop this in there, and that's it. Well, bro, can we see your turbo? I don't even know if you can see this, but there should be. Yeah. Update. Had to take the freaking intercooler out just to get to. I'm so over this already. You know what you want to do when you want to do some work on your car, get all happy and excited, and then it's like, yeah, great. And then there's all these BS you got to run into. So I need this room to get to. I don't even know. I can't see it. There's a bolt down there, and there's a bolt straight down here. And it's just where I'm so over this job now. I'm so over it. NVIDIA downpipe is out, and this bolt sucks because you have to do it by hand, and you really just need the right tools. There's that. Yes, sir. All right, after a lot of work I've got the up pipe out. This is the Grimspeed up pipe. And if you're wondering why I took it out, don't mind the smudge. There's so much to clean up under there. I'm gonna clean it up though. Now that nothing's up, nothing's in there. But anyways, if you're wondering why I took this piece out, that is why. It blew a gasket, and I've been hearing for like the last 6 months this pop, 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 pop. You guys probably wouldn't hear it if you've seen me before, but I did. I noticed a huge change. I don't know if it was from launching it or what the case may be, from the motor mounts being broken. I have no clue, but this is why I'm changing it. And had to snap a bolt here. It's fine because it's actually pressed in or screwed in. So I'm going to tighten that on down. We're gonna make sure these are all nice and good so we don't have any more issues. Alright, so I'm gonna show you what I think happened, whoever installed this. So basically you do these, right? And then you put this there, and then you tighten this one down, and then they force themselves together, right? Then you spin this one, and that will turn everything, right? I think the mistake that was made here was when you go to take them apart. If you go to take this apart, remember these two are meshed like one now. So when you go to reverse it, it's gonna back that out, which basically does nothing. I mean, it just makes what you just did pointless. So what you're supposed to do is put this here again, right? And then, way better in a vise, but bam, you see that? And it didn't move what you just installed. And then now you have a freshly installed stud. Bang. So if you look now, you can see these are all nice and flush. This one is an aftermarket one because I had one that broke, so it went a little bit past, and I'm actually going to install another aftermarket one here because I tried to seal up the leak when I first heard it, but because I noticed that there wasn't even a stud installed, which is probably why it blew out in the first place. Because you can see, bam, that's the aftermarket one, bam, that's where the blowout happened. So I have another aftermarket one I'm about to install. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get this one out. Alright, so update. That bolt's out. It had to be... Oh, man. I had to extract it. And then I had to take it to the shop because I could not fully extract it. So they extracted it and then rethreaded it. And I'm pretty sure they rethreaded it to the wrong pitch on accident. This is supposed to be M10 by 1.25. I'm pretty sure that's a 1.5. Not a super big deal, but damn. Let's get back to it. This is why it pays to save your nuts and bolts. So I ended up finding a bolt that actually went in through the bottom. And then I found the nut that goes to it. So guess what? We're back in business. So now I can go install and finish everything like I need to. It's a little bit shorter, but look, you know, these protrude out a little bit further anyway, so this will actually be like perfect sizing. So, and this actually just holds down the turbo. So yeah, something's better than nothing. It is what it is. Let's get this done. All right, update. Turbo is bolted back up. Up pipe is bolted back up. Now we got to get under there and get the wastegate back on, and then put the down pipe on. But it was a pain in the ass. But basically, I installed three new studs, just to make everything good and fit perfectly like it should. Now, when you look down there, you see there's new hardware. So yeah. All right, so it started raining, but I'm still out here. Since then, I've got the downpipe on. It's still a little loose, so I got some maneuverability. The wastegate's now on. It's not tight. I had to mock it up and move it around a little bit because you have to still put this pipe on too, and you have to make sure that it doesn't hit the CV axle and that it's out of the way. So I told you it's very close. Dump tube. That's why it melted the first time. It fell down on it and got hot. So you just got to make sure it's out of the way and you have that little bitty amount of clearance. So yeah, buddy. Don't nobody talk to me. Don't nobody talk to me about dedication. Okay. I'm sitting here. Granted, I am covered, but I am getting dripped on everywhere. This area right here is dry though. Once I'm done with this, I'm done for a minute. Alright, we back on. We popping. This is a little bit higher than what I had it last time. But it's away. Hopefully it doesn't hit the transmission. We should be good. I like the way it looks. It's very close, but it's not hitting. So I'll take it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, got the headers back on. Like I said, started to rain. I wanted to make sure I got the dump tube on, and then I stopped. So I've added coolant. I've checked, no coolant coming out. I will double check when I start the car. Can't start the car until I get the rack and pinion on because the power steering is still loose. So headers are on, and put these heat shields back on and put the rack and pinion in, and thank the Lord I'll be done. Hopefully, we have no leaks, and we'll double check our work. I know where all the bolts are so far. Everything's been in pretty much in place, so gotta find this one again. But all right, let's get to it. I'll never want to hear that I ain't never put blood, sweat, and tears into this car, because it has ripped me open in the same spot twice. I felt the blood coming through the glove. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm bleeding. You can see it actually. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm bleeding. All right, I haven't been recording too much because I just really want to get this done. I got the rack and pinion back in. Got the power steering lines back in. I don't know if that's leaking or not, but I'm gonna wash everything off, wipe everything down. Got the steering column back in. My little white dash there kind of faded off, but you can still see it, and you see the etch that I had. I put coolant in the car, so it's not leaking now. Just got to keep our fingers crossed that once the thermostat opens, it doesn't leak anymore. All right, now all I got to do is tie this shit back up, man, and I'm done. But we'll see. We will see. So what you're seeing here is I'm just checking for leaks. It is idling a little funny. If you didn't notice, I didn't have the intercooler on. So yeah, I just wanted to check for vacuum leaks. I wanted to check for exhaust leaks, coolant leak, and power steering leak. A lot of stuff was done here, so definitely was just trying to make sure everything was good to go. One thing that I didn't show was constantly turning the steering wheel left and right to get a lot of that air out of there, so make sure you do that to make sure that power steering fluid's back to normal. All I gotta say is that if you made it this far, thank you so much. I hope you guys really learned something new. And yeah, hopefully you don't have these issues. I'll probably break these down into some mini episodes so I can get more direct into it. So thank you guys for watching. Enjoy these fake cam sounds now. And just like that, guys, done and over with. Basically, I put everything back on the same way that I took it off. If there's any questions or concerns that you guys have, leave it in the comments below, and I'll be happy to address it. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.